Welcome back to episode 24 of the Fitness Mindset Podcast. I'm your host as always, Amanda Micallef, and today's show has been sponsored by Divine Physiques Coaching. On today's show, I'll be having a chat with Kimberley Drew, who recently competed in bodybuilding in Italy for the Worlds. And for those of you who don't know what Worlds is, it is basically an additional show for any competitor who has previously competed in that same federation and placed top 5 in their division, with a chance to compete against a higher caliber of athletes. So Kimberley has competed in the all-female classic back in June in 2018 with the ICN. She placed first as a fitness model, first timers, and first sports model first timers also. In September 2018 in Ballarat in the Eureka Showdown, she got first for the Fitness Model Open, Fitness Model Novice and Sports Model Open. She got first in the Fitness Model Novice, runners-up in Fitness Model Overall and runners-up Sports Model Overall. She did the Australian Nationals in October 2018 with no placings, and in June of 2019 at the Universal Championships in Italy, she got second Fitness Model 30 Plus, fifth Fitness Model Open, fifth Sports Model Open, and only top 5 get placed. So that is all in terms of what Kim has done, which is quite a pretty good list of achievements in a short amount of time. So stay tuned, we will have a chat to her. Before we get into the show though, I just wanted to let you know that if you are feeling a little bit stressed out or overwhelmed with your current situation and you are struggling to stick to a health and fitness journey, you might really enjoy my free 7-day mini mindset cheat sheet. So stay tuned until the end of the episode and I'll share that link and more information on that with you. On that note, I hope you enjoy today's show. How'd you manage that?
Well, I went to the gym yesterday and I had them in my pocket of my jumper. Washed it last night, got in the car this morning for gym, and I thought, oh, where are my headphones? And then I backtracked and I'm like, oh no, ran to the washing machine.
Oops.
There they are.
Damn.
So
you're going to buy a new pair then?
Yeah, another $80 down the drain. Third time lucky.
That's shit. Anyway, all right, cool. Let's get stuck into it. So, Kim, so recently you just competed at Worlds in Italy.
Yes.
Yep. Sweet. So take us sort of way back. First of all, just tell us a bit about yourself. All right. So why you got into training, what you do for work, and a little bit sort of how you got into bodybuilding.
Yep, cool. Okay, well, I'm 30 years old, not far off 31. I currently live in Ballarat, just very chilly at the moment. I think it's about to pour down with rain or hail probably. Moved out of home when I was 17 years old, and I've sort of moved around Victoria, pretty much all of Victoria, since then. I haven't always been in the gym. Growing up, I was a horse rider, a competitive horse rider in dressage and showing. Used to compete every weekend. I was selected for the state young rider squad. So I was heavily involved in competition horse riding. I think I first sat on a horse when I was 2 or 3 years old. And then towards my late teens, I sort of stopped riding, just became a bit of a teenager and just, I guess, lost the passion for horse riding. But that was my sporting background prior to hitting the gym, was equestrian. And then probably in my early 20s, I started going to the gym, really had no idea what I was doing, picking up weights, hitting cardio, but didn't have a coach back then. I was just in there sort of, guessing, I guess. And I started to get more serious into it after a breakup. And I was in the gym sort of all the time, and I think that was back in early 2015. that's when I employed my first coach. And that's back in 2015 was when I sort of thought about entering a bodybuilding show. But had no idea what was involved, had no idea how to train properly, how to eat properly, the importance of recovery. I had no idea at all. But I knew I wanted to do it. So that was, that decision back in 2015, so a few years ago. And I was living at Phillip Island at the time. So I moved to Melbourne. I changed careers. Oh no, I didn't change careers. I just moved to the city, changed coaches, and it was, I think, last year that my first show in June last year, so just over a year ago, which I was lucky enough to win. And then I think I've done, my last show was in Italy a few weeks ago, Worlds. So that's a bit of my background, sporting wise. So
cool. Nice little introduction.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you changed coaches. So you never decided to compete back in 2015. What made you sort of decide to change coaches and obviously not compete back then?
Yep. Well, I changed coaches because I moved to Melbourne. So I was living at Phillip Island, and Melbourne is, 2.5, 3 hours away. So I sort of had to. So I moved to the city, got a new job in the city. I was in real estate, and found a coach there. I trained with him for, it would have been maybe on a year or something. And then I had a few sort of internal mental battles that I was going through, and I sort of stopped training with him and sort of stopped going to the gym. I gained a lot of weight, got very, very depressed. I was riddled with anxiety. And I think I gained about close to 20 kilos in a very short amount of time. So I stopped training with him prior to that. And then after a few months, I was like, oh God, I've really got to get my shit together, and I can't keep going on like this. Got to the point where I was having some very, very bad mental thoughts and all of that type of stuff. So I decided to turn a page, get a new coach again, and sort of start on a bit of a weight loss journey, I guess you could say, because I had gained so much weight. So that was my reason for a new coach, purely just to get healthy again, because I always was active, healthy, never overweight, any of that type of thing. So I started with a new coach again, and started to lose weight. And then, I sort of remembered that my initial goal back in 2015 was to one day compete. So it was sort of after I started to lose a bit of weight that I thought, you know what, I need a new challenge. I need a new direction. I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to do it. So that's, that led me to stage last year.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you use obviously that painful experience to then be your catalyst for obviously wanting to get to the stage.
Yes, that was part of it for sure. And I just wanted to push myself mentally as much as I could. I've been through a lot of stuff personally, and my family as well. So I think those experiences have really, really helped me become mentally very, very strong.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do this sort of for myself to see how strong I was as a person. And what better way to do it than a bodybuilding competition, because you need to be bloody mentally strong to make it to that stage. It is not easy. Yeah.
I'm quickly learning that's for sure. So for those of you out there who don't know, I'm actually going through my first contest prep also, after lifting weights for well and truly over 11 years now. Like yourself, in 2015 I wanted to compete as well, but then I sort of got a little bit put off by it and then just sort of went away from that whole idea and have just kind of revisited it again sort of this year as a new challenge. So so I think it's really important about having the right coach. I think that really aligns with your goals and sort of your personality and understands what your strengths and weaknesses are. If they're going to, I suppose, help you while you are being chipped away, basically. So what was the hardest thing about contest prep for you?
Definitely my job. My current job is very different to your standard job. As I said, my previous job was in real estate. I started in real estate, I think, when I was 18 or 19. And after quite a few years, I decided to resign. So I was jobless for a couple of months before I started my new career, which is in the railway. So basically I'm casual, and I'm basically on call 24/7, 365 days of the year.
Right.
So and I get sent all over rural Victoria. So basically they could call me up right now and say, Kim, I need you in Echuca, 7 a.m. start tomorrow morning for 10 days.
So what do you do exactly? Do you drive trains?
No. I'm a safety worker. So
right.
In a nutshell, we sort of protect the people that are working on the track so they don't get killed. So it involves us working out in the weather, rain, hail, shine, -4 degrees, 50 degrees, whatever. You're out in the weather, standing on your feet for most shifts are 10 to 12 hours, and living away from home on your own. So if it's a 10-day block, I have to be able, if I'm in prep or even if I'm not, because I'm training all the time, I have to be able to find a town to stay in that has cooking facility, like a caravan or a cabin or a motel that has cooking facilities, at least a microwave, a fridge for my prepped food, and obviously a gym. And some places that I go, they're tiny towns that don't have gyms, so I will have to find the closest gym, and if that means traveling or driving an hour after a 12-hour shift or whatever, then that's what I have to do. But it's just it's very hard in prep because you're living away from home, from your support network, you're working long days in the heat or in the freezing cold. We don't get breaks. I'm out there on the track literally all on my own. I don't have a toilet, so
sounds rough.
If I don't have enough water, if I don't take enough water, there's no more water. I don't have a tap where I can go fill up my drink bottle. I have to be fully prepared for my days. So that I found really challenging, especially when I got night shifts given to me, because 12-hour night shifts plus, your cardio plus your food prep plus your training on top plus trying to sleep during the day plus drive time to and from work. That was really, really, really tough. And a couple of times I thought, you know what, I don't have this in me. But I got through it. It's all in here. And I got it done. So definitely my job made it quite challenging.
Yeah, sounds it. So the night shift aspect's really interesting. I actually just put out a podcast probably about a week ago about night shift and how best to try and tackle that, because I've got a few shift workers myself as clients. So given the fact that you were on the extreme end of that spectrum, trying to do a comp prep with these long hours through the night, if you were doing consecutive night shifts back to back, how did you adjust your sleeping patterns and your eating times to basically get through it? Because it's been said that you never really adjust 100%. So talk us through that.
Look, sleeping patterns, it is really, really hard, especially I might have just come off day shifts and then they want me to start 4 night shifts the next day. So a couple of I think I was about 6 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, I'm not sure, that they just kept giving me night shift after night shift. And I was like, oh my God, you're kidding me. This is not ideal at all. It's freezing. I can't sleep during the day very well.
Yeah.
I still have to food prep. My gym is half an hour away from my home. It was just horrible. I think I was managing, my sleep was not great. For one of those blocks, I think I managed one day, I think it was 2 hours, and then I had to go back for a 12-hour shift, and I had 2 hours driving each side of that shift. And then the next day it might have been like 4 hours, and then the next day might have been not much more. So I found that really challenging. I can't sleep very well during the day. So what I did after that block was finished, I prioritized my sleep over my training. I made sure that I rested and as much as I could, because I knew that if I was gonna go to gym and train, it was gonna cause me more stress, was gonna put me back even further. And there was a couple of times I thought, you know what, no, I'm done. I can't do this.
Yeah.
But the importance of sleep, I would get a good sleep, and then I'd reassess, and I'm like, you know what, I was just in the moment. I'm not going to give up. I'm not ready to give up. I don't really want to give up. I was just tired. So yeah, very challenging if you're a shift worker. Very, very challenging. But if you have a good support network, plan ahead as much as you can. Get all your food prepped so you don't even have to worry about cooking. It's all done.
Yep.
And just prioritize your sleep, and just stay positive, because it can be done. Yeah, it's all in the mind. It really, really is.
Okay, so with your eating, let's just go into a little bit more of that sort of around night shift, because I think everyone sort of does it differently, and it's, you know, like it's very common that people will say they feel sick during the night, they don't really feel like eating. Kind of like what you eat during the night can be very different to what you eat during the day, because the stomach, you know, doesn't really want, say, whole foods as such. It's more sort of snack-based stuff. So how did you sort of hit your macros throughout the night, and at what times throughout the night, or sort of in the later part of the evening, or even in the morning after your shift? So what time did you start and finish work, and how did you time your meals around that?
Yep. Okay. So each shift is, again, different, but usually they're 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. So what I would do was I trial and error for a little bit. But what I found best for me was I would try and stick to not eating during the night, because usually I would be asleep. So I would want to eat, but I would just tell myself, you're normally asleep, you don't need the food, you're just tired, or you're just bored, or you think you want food. So I'd wake up whatever time I woke up before work, and I'd get in, I think I eat 5 times a day. So I'd get in my first 3 meals before I would start work, and then I'd save 2 meals to have before midnight, because at midnight, for me, a new day would start. So I'd have my 4th meal around 6 or 7, sort of when I'd start, and then I'd have my last meal around 10 p.m. And then from 10 till 6, that was it. It was just water and no food. I didn't need the food. I had it in my system, so it was mind over matter. And then when I would wake up, just repeat. Yeah, that's how I did it, and what worked for me.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and how was your sort of energy throughout the night?
Not great at all, especially closer to comp. But the way I tackled it was just water. Water. If I think I was tired, I didn't really want to fill myself up with caffeine, because when I got home, I really wanted to be able to sleep. So water, keep hydrated, and that will do the trick. And again, mind over matter. It really is all in the mind. So self-talk is key.
Yes, we're all about mindset here at Divine Physique. So good point. We'll go into that a little bit later. But first, I want to sort of look at what your training, your cardio and your dieting looks like. So if you can talk us through how many days a week you were training, what sort of a split did you have? Were any exercises sort of eliminated as you got closer to the show day because of the demands on the body was too much? I'm sorry if there's too many questions here. And also your food. So, I mean, what would you eat in a typical day?
Yep. Okay, so obviously my coach looked after all of that for me, Jacob, so he was awesome. My training, I was only training 5 days a week up until about, oh gosh, I think it was 6 weeks out maybe, and then we increased it to 6 days. We really prioritized uh, rest and stress management because that is what works for me. So 5 days a week up until about 6 weeks out, and then we upped it to 6 days a week. I was training legs twice a week, upper body 3 times a week. And because my time is kind of limited in the gym with my job, we introduced a lot of myo reps just to cut down the amount of time that I was in the gym, which really worked for me. In terms of cutting things out, in my last block, we cut out things like deadlifts, I think for the last 4 weeks. Maybe, a few of the big compound movements we cut out. But there wasn't really too much that we took away. In terms of my food, Jacob would set my calories and my macros, and I would create my own meal plan. I kept it. What I would do on a Sunday night is I would set my plan for the week, so I wasn't focusing on food. So I would enter into my fitness pal exactly what I was going to have each day, and I'd just prep it all. So then I wasn't constantly, in my fitness pal looking at food. It was just, that's it, that's what it is, and just eat it. Obviously, I would make it self-enjoyable because, it shouldn't be, you're not eating much, so you want to enjoy what you're eating. So that's how I started the eating part of it. I just made a plan each week, and I just stuck to that.
So what did you miss the most with your food? Like me personally, I'm a big sweet tooth. So cutting out sweets has been it's been a huge challenge for me. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. And I'm just, well, there you go. You cooked a cake before we started the podcast. So like things like donuts and stuff are big weaknesses for me. I mean, what was a huge weakness for you that you had to cut out that you really struggled with? And also, were there moments in prep where, I mean, let's be honest, it's very hard to be 100% every single day with your diet as per what you enter into MyFitnessPal. That has been my experience so far. I mean, what's your take on that? And it's sort of at what point in the prep close to stage day did you go, enough's enough? I'm 100% compliant. I'm not going to skip a beat. I'm cutting out the smallest of things now and just really tightening up, because what we consider cheating, someone else, it might be a really good day for someone else. Do you know what I mean? But when it's comp prep, it's like, it's to the letter or the results just don't come.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, my personality, I find it quite easy to, once I'm in prep. So for me, cutting out little things is easy, because that's just my personality. I have to be, and not just with comp prep, that's just me in general. I have to be on. So that's just me, and I guess I'm kind of lucky in that respect. Cutting, what did I really crave? Pizza. Yeah. But then again, if I really wanted it. Not really close to comp, but I fit it in my macros. So I would make a pizza, not a proper pizza, but I would sort of work it into my fitness pal if I could.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what was a homemade pizza for you then?
Well, what I could just buy like a pita wrap, or
Mm-hmm.
a cold gluten-free base. I would have just a little bit of like tomato paste on it, and then vegetables that I really enjoy, like mushrooms, capsicum, pineapple, some sort of protein on there. I
Yep.
wouldn't have cheese or anything fun like that. But yeah, that kind of cut it for me, sort
Sounds
of.
good. Sounds good. I need to try something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what else did I crave? Like I just made before, banana cake. Love it. So this is my
Yep.
first. This will be my first bit of banana cake for a long, long time. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Why don't you send me the recipe and we'll link that below in the show notes. Yep. So
Sure.
let's do that.
Will do.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So closer to show day, talk me through what you ate in a day. Let's go a bit more specific. So start me from the morning. So you had 5 meals a day. What did that look like? And what were your
All
calories? So how low did you get with your calories in the end?
Yeah. Alrighty. So we had, gosh, I've got to rejig my memory. Roughly, my calories got down to about just over 1,200 on my low days. My high days, I would have been around maybe 1,400 and something. My macros were, protein was 130, fats got down to, oh gosh, maybe 40, don't quote me on that, and my carbs, can't remember. But what I was doing with my meals was, for breakfast, butternut pumpkin, because you can have quite a lot for, it doesn't take much away from your calorie budget. So butternut pumpkin, coconut oil, just for flavor really, and obviously for the fats. And I would have steak, lean cut of red meat, and 100 grams of veggies. Yeah, I think that was about right. My second meal, I would usually just go chicken, and again, with my job, because I don't have a fridge or anything, and it's out there for 12 hours, I would have to really think about that as well. So if I was out in the heat, or if it was a warm day and I'm like, oh, I probably can't have fish out there for 12 hours, I would have to maybe go with like a can of tuna in oil or something like that. So it would differ depending on my job. So I'd either go tuna in oil, or chicken, or some fish if I was at home, 100 grams of veggies. And my carbs, I'm obsessed with, and I still am, and I still love it. It's still my lunch today, boiled potatoes, low carb potatoes.
Yeah.
Delicious. My third meal, probably more low carb boiled potatoes. I had a lot of potato. And a can of tuna again. I think the Mexican one from Coles, just low fat. So I've got my protein. And my dinner, I can't even remember how I did it. It would have been just like fish or chicken, 100 grams of veg.
Cool.
It was all very basic, because it's just food.
Yeah. And if you were flavoring things, so obviously you've got to get rid of sauces as much as you can very close to show day. Like there's sort of a period within comp prep where, say, like 6 or 8 weeks out, it's like, all right, this and that has to go. Were there like little condiments or anything that you started to eliminate as time went on, and sort of what was your go-to for flavor?
Yeah, no, I don't do any sauce.
Nothing at all. Yep.
No sauces really. Flavor, no. Moroccan seasoning. I love Moroccan seasoning.
Yep.
But I would cut that out. I cut that out maybe 3 weeks prior to comp. Flavor, yeah, that was really about it. I don't do sauces. I still don't really do sauces. That's just me.
Yep.
I don't know. the oil and the coconut oil really was my flavor. So bit of salt, Moroccan seasoning. Yeah, that was really it for me. What else did I cut out? About 4 weeks. Diet Coke. I was having Diet Coke, yeah, up to about 4 weeks out, purely just if I was getting a craving or something like that, I'd have a 50 ml of Diet Coke, but cut that out. Any sweeteners, if I put a sweetener in my coffee or whatever, I'd cut that out 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks prior to comp.
Sure.
But yeah, don't really, sauces, no. I really just told myself it's just food. I'm here for a competition. This isn't going to last forever. Toughen up. Eat this. You don't always need flavor. That was my mindset anyway. So that's what worked for me.
Very strong mentally, which is awesome. And obviously, like they say, you need to really start at a point of strength when you start a comp prep. Yep. So did you feel that you started quite strong, and then would you say that towards the end of it, did you sort of enjoy any sort of muscular or joint aches, frustrations, any strength losses, little injuries, things like that towards the end?
So are you talking you have to start quite strong in terms of mentally strong?
I think in most aspects, I think it would make sense to be both physically and mentally really well to start a prep, because I think it just chips away at you as time goes on.
Yeah, I would definitely say to anybody that was thinking about competing, before you do anything, work on your mindset and your mind strength, because you're going to need it more than anything. So I would say start working on that first and start working on managing your stresses. Because if you can conquer those two and build a really, really, really strong mindset that can really get through anything, then you are ready to tackle a comp prep. I think really that is the best advice I could give somebody is work on your mindset. Because if you don't have that, it's going to be really, really hard for you. So I guess I'm lucky, and the things that I went through in my personal life prior to comp, growing up, things that I witnessed and went through and all of that gave me a lot of inner strength. So I look back on them and, oh God, they were horrible, and I wouldn't wish them upon my worst enemy, but I'm very, very grateful for everything that I went through, because I do believe that I have a really, really strong mindset. So that all those bad experiences have really helped me become who I am today. In terms of injuries, no, I didn't get any injuries. I do have, I was born with, no one is actually able to, I've seen so many people and no one can really help me. My legs are, from my hips down to my feet, sort of twisted. So I basically am in pain pretty much every day. But that's just how it is. That's not really an injury as such. I just work around it. So if they're really bad on my leg day, I'll switch my leg day around for an upper body day. And I prioritize getting massages. So I was doing that weekly throughout my prep.
Yeah, cool. So the self-care aspect really sort of has to take a priority through a contest prep. What I found personally as well is that I've been really managing sleep and really prioritizing sleep more so than what I actually was. Was that obviously that would have been a big thing for you as well?
Yeah. Obviously when I had my night shifts, my sleep was shit, and it did affect my results a little bit for that week. But when I was on day shift, absolutely, I would prioritize sleep. I would get in bed as early as I can, put the phone down, put the phone away, get your sleep, because that is, one of the biggest things. Sometimes I even prioritize that over training, to be honest. Sleep is a huge, huge deal in comp prep. Definitely prioritize your sleep, 100%.
Yeah, so you make an interesting point there. So I think a few times, because obviously Jacob's my coach as well, and he has made a point of, your diet is going to be more important than your training some days. So
Yes.
were there days where you kind of had to just skip a training day and you only got in, say, 4 days for the week because either you're too exhausted or whatever the case may be, but you still managed to sort of hit your macros, and kind of that's a little bit more important than, say, getting all 5 days in every single week consistently?
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, and definitely there were days that that I just could not make it to the gym,
Yeah.
whether it be because of work or I was so exhausted from not sleeping or whatever. Um, Absolutely, there were a few days there that I couldn't train. So as long as I would hit my macros and my calories and get a good amount of sleep in. So, and all my water as well. Um, so yeah, there definitely were. I mean, that close to comp, you're not going to really be changing your body in the gym much at all. It really, as long as you can keep your nutrition 100% on track,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. And if you manage your sleep, skipping a gym session here or there can be sort of more beneficial really than going
Yeah.
in when you're super exhausted and creating more stress for yourself. That might
Mm.
actually put backwards rather than a step forward. So keep your nutrition on track every day, no matter what. Get as much sleep, get your water in. And if you miss a gym session, okay, whatever, move on. Next day, keep going.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. I personally have been so strict with hitting sessions for so long that I almost feel more of a guilt when I miss a particular exercise in a day, or I don't think I've even missed a day, maybe one day so far in this prep, and I've been prepping since Jan. So I'm a little bit more married to that process than I am 100% with I'm 90% with the nutrition that I know will get, it will need to tighten up on just a few things as time goes on. And that's just me being really honest, because I'm human and not because I'm bloody perfect. And this is my first show. So you don't know what you don't know without prior experience. Yeah. At least you've had that prior show, you know what comp brain means in comparison to a non-comp brain. So you know how to switch on and switch off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which kind of leads me into my next point. So you kind of hear about people suffering from post-comp blues. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the post-comp blues for people that don't know? Have you suffered it? And also, is it because people are just too far attached to the process?
Yeah, look, it's definitely something that is talked about a lot on social media, I have found. Um, and so Italy was 3 weeks ago, I think it was. Um, and I honestly feel awesome. I don't feel down at all. Um, After my first show, yeah, I did, I guess, feel a little bit down. Um, but I think that's because I had no other focus. Um, you know, before the first show, it was everything was about the show. I went into the show just not thinking about what I was going to do after it, and I think that's the mistake that perhaps people make. So my last show, what I did was I was aware that afterwards, if I didn't have plans or goals outside of the gym and health and fitness, that I might feel a little bit down, because what else is there?
Mm,
So I made sure that before my comp and during my prep, I had written down, and I still have them written down, goals to do after comp that have nothing to do with health and fitness.
yeah.
So, I think that's really important for people to do during their prep. Think, okay, once this comp is over, because it's going to be over,
Mm,
um, and after the comp, no one cares really. Like, it's
no.
done.
Yeah.
It's done and dusted. So
Mm,
what next? Don't have plans that are not fitness related. Go and I don't know. You might want to learn how. One of mine is learn how to cook. Um, create recipes. You might want to learn a new language. Have all
Yeah.
those things set in stone, so you can, after comp, have something to focus on. Because if you don't, then all you're going to be thinking about is comp and your food and training, and that'll create stress, and then you'll get down because, you know, you didn't get in a gym session or your cardio's not there, and what am I going to do now? I don't have a comp, you know, coming up. And then you might enter a new comp because you don't have another focus, and should you really be entering another comp just because you're feeling down? Do you know
Mm,
what I mean? So
interesting. Yep.
I think having plans outside of health and fitness is positive and healthy.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. So, yes, basically, long story short, get a life, people. Get a life after the show, during the show. How
Yeah,
important do you think it is to be a little social during prep?
yeah. Um, well,
And by social, I don't mean going out drinking or going to a nightclub or being around certain temptations, but catching up with a friend for a black coffee,
or
or a water, or just being around friends in general. I have personally found it to be extremely helpful because comp prep can be somewhat of it's a massive task. It becomes a job, and it can be somewhat isolating. So I think if,
yeah,
like, some people, like I've got a mate of mine who's prepping, and he prefers to go into comp mode and basically be antisocial. I personally, that doesn't wash with me. I think I prefer to be social. I mean, what's your take on that?
yeah. I guess I'm a bit like your friend. Once I'm in comp mode, I'm in comp mode. Um, uh, if I was to go out with friends or catch up, it would strictly be for a black coffee or a water, or I would obviously take my prepped food.
Yep.
And I'm lucky that I have some very, very supportive friends who
Yep.
are awesome and really respect what I do and are interested in what I do.
Yep.
Um, but I definitely, my social life sort of does take a back seat while I am in prep. And that was one of my goals post comp, was to be social again, catch
Mm,
up with my friends more often, do more day trips, go out for brunches, um, see more of my friends again. So for me personally, I sort of do become a bit isolated. I don't want to, um, risk not getting my sleep in, or risk any sort of temptation or anything like that. And most of my friends actually still live in Melbourne, which is like 2 hours away from here. So
yeah,
it's kind
right.
of hard to see them sometimes anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It just sounds like you're quite used to it regardless. Like, obviously, given your living circumstances and stuff, it's kind of like and I think as you get into your 30s, I mean, how often do you really see your friends anyway? I mean, everyone's really busy. So you're lucky if you kind of see your friends a couple of times a month, and that's on a good month, yeah? So in your
Yeah.
20s, it's a bit different. You're very codependent on your mates. In your 30s, everyone's got careers, families, building businesses and what have you. So the dynamics of
Yeah,
friendships change. Um,
they do.
yeah. So, okay, awesome. Now, just to finish off, who shouldn't compete? And we sort of did speak about this earlier, but I guess on a final note, what advice do you have for those that are in a strong position to start a show? If you had one
Mm.
piece of advice for someone doing their first show, or for someone that you feel wouldn't be good for a show, I mean, what would some of those things be?
To anybody that is thinking about doing their first show, don't do it because it seems to be the in thing to do at the moment. Don't do it for that reason. Do it because you have a passion for bodybuilding. Um, and yeah, just don't do it because everybody on Instagram is doing it, or for just glamming up on the day. Do it because you want to work hard. Do it because you really want to achieve a goal,
Mm,
or push yourself to the limit, because you will be. Um, and um, what advice can I give? financially, it's expensive. So be prepared for that. Budget, find out everything, every cost involved.
What did you
And
spend for everything? Hair, makeup, tan? Don't worry about all the food and the coaching side of things. Let's look at the actual show day. So bikini, tan, hair, makeup, sort of just a rough figure. What's that sort of cost an average competitor?
Okay. So my first bikini was $350. It was pretty basic, but at the time I wasn't working. That was when my career changed, so I went with basic. Whereas my last one for Worlds, I think it was $750. So you can choose a bikini within your budget, absolutely, and they'll look amazing. But definitely get a custom made to fit your physique. Or if you buy a secondhand one, take it to get it, fitted to your physique. So yeah, bikinis, they can range from, it really depends on how much you're wanting to spend. Your shoes, I think I paid for mine $100 or $150. That's pretty standard. Your entry, so you need to become a member. I think that's about $150, and then you have to pay for each division that you want to enter. So I think your first one is $100 or $150, and then each additional one is maybe $50. So it can be quite expensive just to enter. Hair, tan, makeup, you're looking at, depending on who you go with, $300 to $370 for the full package. But make sure you get somebody that specializes in comp tans and comp makeup, because it's different to your everyday tan and makeup.
Just going to chuck the laptop on the charger. Sorry, don't mind me.
Hair, tan, makeup, or your nails, what's that? Maybe, I don't know, $80, $100. And that's, shoes, hair, tan, makeup, entry. Parking, you've got to think about all of that. So yeah, financially, you've got to be prepared for that.
Give or take $1,500, let's just say. Yeah.
And then if you're going to compete overseas like I just did, don't even ask.
Well, that was a European holiday, literally. So anyone who's travelled to Europe.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You took your mum with you, so that was really cute.
Yeah, it was the best time. We'd never been to Europe, so did the competition and then travelled to Florence, which was incredible, and then over to Paris for a few days. So we just had the best time. That's awesome. I can't wait to go back. It was phenomenal. So I'm very glad that I pushed through those really, really hard days where I thought, I can't do this, because you can.
Having amazing support, and I think if you have your mum's support, mums tend to keep things very real, and they keep you very grounded as well. And there's nothing better than simple, basic advice. There's no real huge analogies and sometimes the things that mums say, but you take it on board because it's your mum. So
and they're always there, no matter what. So
so how much weight did you lose for the show in total?
So when I started with Jacob was November last year. I moved over to Jacob, and I'd sort of just come off another show, Nationals last year, which was in October. So when I started with him, I think I was around 56 kilos. So intentionally, obviously, we wanted to gain weight. So I think I got up to around 62. And then stage day, I'm not actually sure exactly what I was because I was overseas, but I probably would have been around 52, 53 kilos. And it was definitely my best package to date. So my fourth show, and managed to place in all of my divisions. So I was extremely happy to see it. So it was an absolute dream come true to represent Australia, myself, my family, JPS, and be able to claim it. So it was freaking awesome.
So again, for people that don't know, what do you need to get in, say, a local show in order to qualify for Worlds?
So for Worlds, you you just need to have done a previous show. For nationals, I believe you need to have placed top 5. I think that's what it was last year. But you can always contact, for ICN, you can always contact Tony just to check what you need to qualify. So
cool.
Yeah.
And what placings did you walk away from? Because I think you said it before, but it sort of cut out. So how many shows in Italy, and what did you walk away with?
Yep. So, it was just the one show, but I did 3 divisions. So my first one was sports model 30, open, I think. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And I got 5th place, so top 5 place. So I got 5th, so I was stoked.
Yep.
My second one was fitness model 30 plus, where I got 2nd. And then my third one, which was like my baby, the one I really cared about, was fitness model open. And I managed 5th place again. So I was very happy to have placed in all 3.
Yeah, so, and the standard's obviously a lot higher overseas.
Sorry?
Is the standard a lot higher in a world's competition?
Yeah, I believe it was definitely my toughest lineups that I've seen. The girls that placed above me definitely were in better condition than me and deserved to place above me. They were unreal. So to have placed against them made me even happier. So the standard over there was pretty great, which is what you want. Like you don't want to get on stage and win against an average sort of lineup. You want to compete, like that's what you're there for. So to place next with the really awesome chicks was cool.
Yeah, massive achievement, really big achievement.
Yeah.
So where to from here now? What are your goals in the next couple of years? Any plans to compete again?
During my prep I was like, there's a few times I'm never doing this again. But truth is I actually really love it, and I, as hard as the preps can be, I thrive off it, and I actually love it. So will there be more shows? Yeah, I'm gonna say there will be. I want there to be. Because I genuinely love it. For many different reasons other than just for the show day. I love watching my physique change. I love watching what my body can do. I love pushing my mind. I love seeing what my mind can do. But in terms of other shows, Jacob, my coach, won't let me decide that until the end of this month. Focus right now is purely on recovery. You need your body to recover. He wants to make sure my mindset is in the right place before we discuss any future shows. So I think that right there says a lot about my coach, or our coach, because you have the same coach. He's not just going to let me dive into a show unless he knows that I'm ready, and unless I know I'm ready. So there will be more shows, whether it be a season B, I don't know, but hopefully.
Awesome. So recovery diet, we'll just sort of to quickly discuss what that looks like, and then we'll just kind of wrap it up from there. So obviously it's about increasing calories week by week. Like how high are your calories jumping weekly, things like that.
Yep. Okay, well, obviously this was a little bit different, this one, because I was in Italy after my show. So, I mean, when you're in Italy, you're going to be eating food, because you're in Italy.
Yep.
So that was one of my things, my post-comp goals was not to have any anxiety around that. So I went into it telling myself, I'm not going to be tracking for the week that I was there. I'm in Europe with my mum. I'm on a holiday. I've just dieted strictly for a long amount of time. 1 week mindfully eating is not going to kill me. So that's exactly what I did. I didn't pig out. I didn't, binge eat. But if I wanted a croissant, I would have it. I prep a few meals for a couple of the days. But I made sure I did heaps of walking. So we're walking like 20,000 steps or more a day. So when I got back, I jumped on the scales. Obviously, Jacob needed to know where we're at so he could set my reverse diet. And I was only up to 2-ish kilos or something. So I was quite happy with that. So yeah, once I got back from holiday, it was into my reverse diet, and my calories now are, last week they were at 1700 odd, I can't remember exactly, and this week they've gone up 100, I think it was 105 calories. So obviously, yeah, the aim is to slowly increase your calories so your body gets used to eating more food and you don't stack on a whole lot of weight straight away. So slowly increase them, and yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3, I think it's 3, no, 4 low days. So low days, so around 1700 calories, and then I've got some high days thrown in there as well, which are at around 21 or 2200 calories, I think it is.
Nice. Higher than me at the moment.
I said to him at my check-in, I said, "Oh, Jacob, on my high days, I'm struggling to eat the food. Like,
yeah, it gets like that.
But I'm not going to complain about that.
No.
Yeah, reverse diet is going really well. I'm not really craving, I'm not binging on anything. If I'm craving something, I'll fit it into that reverse diet. Reverse dieting is very, very important. But it's going really, really well. So yeah, just have that mindset of just ticking boxes and getting the job done. So, and that's one thing also. I wouldn't recommend going into a show unless you're fully prepared to keep working after the show in terms of your nutrition. Yeah. Because if you don't, you're going to gain a whole lot of weight very, very quickly, and then you might have post-comp blues. So don't do it unless you're working at the diet after the show, because that is really important.
Yeah, that's what happens. It just places too much metabolic stress when people just overeat, and that's where they blow out and they get that puffer fish look. They sort of lose all their definition and they end up worse than where they started. So yes, reverse diet is probably just as, if not more important than the actual comp prep diet from a health perspective, because it's all about restoring nutrients back into the body, a healthy amount of body fat, and more importantly, I think mental health, regaining that mental health back again as well.
Absolutely. Oh, and sorry, that's just one more thing as well. I would recommend not doing a competition if you think you're going to be, if you think you're going to want to stay stage lean, because it is not healthy to stay stage lean. You have to be happy within yourself and confident in yourself to gain that body fat back. I mean, you don't have to get fat. I'm not saying that at all, but you have to be happy and confident in yourself to walk around at a normal body fat percentage. Because stage is not maintainable.
Did you feel hungry on the day of the show? What's it like on the day of the show? Have you got energy?
Yes, I do, because of the adrenaline. So first for me, first thing in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. Like, give me food. But then once you get moving, you get to the venue, your hair, your tan, your makeup, and all of that is getting done. You sort of forget about all that. Then you start to think, okay, shit, what's the time? Is it time to eat yet? You just get really, really busy. And for me, I kind of just forget about that until it's time to eat. No, I'm only hungry really first thing in the morning of the comp. And then I get so busy, I kind of forget. And then you have your rice cakes and your honey and all of that. And suddenly it's stage time and it's like, oh shit, it's go time.
Cool.
Yay.
All right. Awesome. So Kim, if people want to actually reach out to you on social media and ask you a few more questions on, say, Facebook or Instagram, what's the best way to find you?
Yep, my Instagram is Kimmy KIMMY Drew DREW 88, and Facebook is Kimberley Drew.
Awesome. I'll link those below in the show notes, guys, so check those out. Kim, thanks again for coming on the show today. It's been awesome. It's been a really good chat.
Yeah.
Hope you've enjoyed it. Is this your first podcast?
Yeah, it is. So it was fun.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you. Until next time, stay tuned.
Cool. And good luck with the rest of your prep. I'm sure I'll see you or speak to you soon, though.
Oh, we shall. Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. Please make sure that you grab yourself a free copy of my 7-day mini mindset cheat sheet at askamandahowe.com. I repeat, it's askamandahowe.com. So my current clients get access to the full 6-week course, but today I wanted you to have the first week absolutely free. So in this cheat sheet, I will show you how to understand why change is so difficult, uncover where your priorities are currently at, understand how this may be affecting your ability to ultimately achieve the body and the life you've been dreaming of. And also you'll be given a little homework task there to help you put into practice what you will learn about yourself in the next 7 days. Also, if you are interested in online or face-to-face coaching, you can book yourself in for a free 15-minute discovery call. That link is also below. So check that out if you wish to elevate your training and mindset to the next level. Thanks again for joining me on the show today, and I'll catch you on the next episode.